Hey everyone, this is Ange. I wanted to try something different and start creating videos based on the history of different aspects of visual novels. In this video, I'll be doing a video based on MangaGamer. If you don't know what MangaGamer is, they're one of the oldest publishing companies for official English translated Japanese original visual novels and eroge. According to Wikipedia, it was started by Hiroshi Takeuchi, aka Bamboo, the president of Overdrive. He wanted to release eroge in the West, but due to the cost of it, formed a joint venture with Tarte, Nexton, and Circus to translate eroge into English officially. This led to one of their first two visual novel releases being Which Girl Should I Choose, originally called Hinata Boko in Japanese, though they've since lost that license. MangaGamer is one of the few publishers to have their own online digital store, now having separate sections to separate their all ages releases and 18+ releases. They also host releases from various other visual novel publishers. They're also the company most likely to go to various American anime conventions, having their own booth, as well as having at least one panel where they announce new visual novel licenses. They've gone to SakuraCon, Anime Expo, and Otakon to name a few. In addition, they're the company that's popularized the trend of posting monthly-ish updates of their progress of their visual novel translations on social media. Now I'll go through some of MangaGamer's most notable releases by original Japanese developer, roughly in release order. As stated above, Japanese developer Overdrive was what helped spawn MangaGamer. This has led to MangaGamer translating just about all the releases into English. Edelweiss was the other of their first releases, though had a very rough translation and editing, with lots of typos and oddly written sentences. Wikipedia explains that the translations were done by native Japanese speakers, which probably explains that. MangaGamer proceeded to retranslate it in 2011. Kira Kira released in 2009 and is one of Overdrive's more popular titles. However, the English release was also a bit rough around the edges, but not as bad as the original Edelweiss. The fan disc of Edelweiss, Aiden Fantasia, was released in 2010. Same with Kira Kira's fan disc, Curtain Call. Go Go Nippon was released worldwide in 2011. It was created as kind of a fun Japan tourist guide visual novel with two sisters as the main heroines. It's one of the earliest visual novels with dual language support to help with people learning the Japanese language. Go Go Nippon might be Overdrive's most mainstream visual novel, prompting them to get updates in 2015 and 2016 with more content. The two sister heroines got their own VTuber channel in 2021 and has slowly been getting more popular. Deardrops released in 2012 and its fan disc D2B vs Deardrops in 2014. Bokuten, Why I Became an Angel released in 2019 on MangaGamer and Steam. The Steam version is important because a year after the release, there was a time when Bokuten was actually banned on Steam since a random review led Steam to find out there were still 18+ files accidentally hidden within the release. Once MangaGamer removed these hidden files, Bokuten was able to come back. Musicus, planned to potentially be Overdrive's last visual novel, got a release in 2021. The Musicus characters have their own VTuber show, one I kinda keep forgetting about. Circus may not be the most mainstream romance visual novel company in the West, but it's been around quite a while in Japan, starting in 2000, and still making visual novels to this day. MangaGamer released Da Capo 1 in 2008 and its Innocent Finale in 2010. Da Capo 2 got released in 2010 and a Kotori Love XP fan disc in 2011. Da Capo 3 and DS Dal Segno released in 2017. So far, Da Capo 4 hasn't had an English translation announcement yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if it came eventually. For a while, MangaGamer was partnered with Navel, and you might recognize some of these names. The Shuffle visual novel was released in 2009. Some people might remember the anime adaptation, and I believe it made some changes from the original visual novel. A sequel to Shuffle called Tic Tac was released in 2013. An alternative version to Tic Tac called Really Really was released in 2014. Sadly, it seems like MangaGamer lost the license to Shuffle and has shown no signs of getting it back. It looks like this discontinuation happened on March 31st, 2016. It does make me wonder if they'll ever translate popular visual novels in the untranslated community in Oratachi ni Tsubasa wa Nai and Suki ni Yoriso Otome no Saho. These are both highly rated visual novels by Navel. Now here's a big one. MangaGamer has licensed the Higurashi series not once, but twice. They actually released the original Higurashi in 2009 with the infamous art with the characters' ham hands and all. I even remember buying Kai from an anime convention at MangaGamer's booth long ago. In 2015, they licensed and released the first episode of a newer version called Higurashi Hole with a brand new modern art style. However, neither version has an option for the Japanese PS3 art or voice acting, period. 07th Mod has made a patch for the original 8 episodes to have the PS3 art and voice acting option as of 2020. There's also a fan translation of the console-only arcs, which are noted to be specifically compatible with MangaGamer's releases. Speaking of Ryukishi's 07 and 07th expansion, MangaGamer released Umineko episodes 1 through 8 in 2016. I believe they worked with the original Umineko fan translators to get an improved translation. This MangaGamer version also had new art. 07th Mod also made a patch for the MangaGamer version to get PS3 art and voice acting. Speaking of working with fan translators, there is a point where MangaGamer had the Japanese version of Rose Gun's Days on their store, since there is a decently popular fan translation for it. MangaGamer has since removed Rose Gun's Days as well as the older 07th expansion releases from their store due to their old 07th expansion contract running out. MangaGamer was able to get a worldwide release of Kikonia Episode 1 out in 2019. Sadly, due to some circumstances, Kikonia's Japanese progress has been indefinitely delayed, but hopefully fans of the When They Cry series don't have to wait much longer. MangaGamer released Innocent Grey's Kara no Shoujo back in 2011. The prequel-ish visual novel Cartagra got released in 2014. Kara no Shoujo the second episode released in 2015. An unfortunate and weird issue is that Kara no Shoujo 1 was able to get on Steam, but Kara no Shoujo 2 wasn't. Steam has been incredibly inconsistent on which visual novels they allow. Sadly, no news of Kara no Shoujo 3 being translated has been revealed, but hopefully it does eventually, since it seems to be well loved. MangaGamer has also worked with Minori. They released F, A Fairy Tale of the Two in 2010, Eden Asterisk in 2015, and Supipata episodes 1 and 2 by 2018. Minori's latest English title, Chinoline, as well as its fan disc, Chinoline Genesis, was released by MangaGamer. MangaGamer actually has a few boys love or yaoi visual novels. Their first was No Thank You by Parade in 2015. They released Haraka Shitsuji Naked Butlers by Mata Kobo in 2017. They released Hasahime of the Old Book Town by Adelta in 2019. This one is notable for a few reasons. For one, it actually has a very high rating on VNDB, since it apparently has a very good murder mystery story. Hasahime was popular enough to get a Switch port in English. Also, MangaGamer recently announced Ultra C with 3 U's by the same developers, so hopefully it's another boys love visual novel with plot those fans can look forward to. MangaGamer has also given some love to the girls love or yuri genre of visual novels. They've released a few from the long-running Kiss for the Petals or Sono Hanabira series, Remembering How We Met in 2015, The New Generations in 2016, and Maidens of Michael in 2018. They released Kindred Spirits on the Roof in 2016 by Liarsoft. There's also Wanting Wings, Her and Her Romance, released in 2020. Speaking of Liarsoft, MangaGamer has had a few non-Yuri releases by that company. They released Gokthun of the Golden Lightning in 2015 and Jean at the Clock Tower in 2021. There's a currently announced but unreleased Sonanil of the Violet Shadows, What Beautiful Memories. It's been announced for a while, and I know some fans have been wondering where it's at. MangaGamer has had Moonstone projects as well. Princess Evangel was released in 2015. The fan disc, W Happiness, was released in 2017. Magical Marriage Lunatics was released in 2018. Sakura no Mori Dreamers was released in 2020. Oddly, the sequel, Sakura no Mori Dreamers 2, is on Steam, but not in English yet. Hopefully MangaGamer plans on working on an English version eventually. MangaGamer isn't afraid to sell some dark fetishy visual novels, as they've had some from the infamous developer Clock Up. There's the more lighthearted but still fetishy eroge Sex and Games Make Sexy Games, released in 2013. The fairly popular darker visual novel Euphoria, released in 2015. The arguably darker Maggot Baits, released in 2019. There is a recently announced Ero Voice Sexy Voices Lead to a Successful Love Life, though this seems more like eroge Make Sexy Games, more lighthearted but still fetishy. One of MangaGamer's most well-liked releases is The House and Fata Morgana by Evenicle. The original released in 2016 and got console ports for Sony in 2019 and Switch in 2021. These console ports include various prequels, sequels, and side stories. Fata Morgana somehow has had a few controversies. In 2020, long after the original release, some people found out there was a scene referring to a tsundere as a joke in the original Japanese version. This statement was localized to make the person say the person had a fragile male ego. Some popular YouTubers even made a big deal about it. These complaints led to MangaGamer referring to Evenicle to confirm the original developers were perfectly fine with the localized line. The more amusing controversy was the Switch version of Fata Morgana on Metacritic for a time had a perfect 100 average. This led to some people complaining that a non-gameplay visual novel was beating more deserving real games. Its Metascore has since dropped to 96, but that's still impressive for a visual novel. For otome gay fans, MangaGamer has actually had a few releases of that genre as well. They released Oz Mafia in 2016 and Steam Prison in 2019. The Fin route for Steam Prison got released in 2020. MangaGamer is also one of the few companies to release the very rare 18+ otome in English, 2 from Call Me a 8. Fashioning Little Miss Lonesome in 2017 and Fuck Me Royally Horny Magical Princess in 2020. The Rance series is one of the longest visual novel gameplay hybrid series, and MangaGamer has released a good amount of them. They first released 5D and 6 together in 2016. Sengoku Rance released in 2019. The remakes of Rance 1 and 2 released in 2020. Rance Quest Magnum released in 2021. Rance 9 and 10 are announced and are slowly in progress of being translated. So far, Rance 3 and 4 have not been announced to get a translation of any kind yet. The Rance series has had a few points of controversy related to MangaGamer. In 2019, there was a twit longer by former Rance 10 translator Arunaru about how he stopped working for MangaGamer due to payment disagreements. There's also some people who complained that the official version of Sengoku Rance used a localization broski that was originally onii-chan in Japanese. Coincidentally, the translation of Sengoku Rance was by Arunaru, the person who made that MangaGamer leaving post. Irony much? MangaGamer also released the first Evenicle by Alisoft, the same company who made the Rance series. This was released in 2018. Weirdly enough, Alisoft decided to self-publish Evenicle 2, but after the game got banned on Steam, they went quiet for a while, and then in 2022, they agreed to have MangaGamer be one of the stores it'll be sold on. Kinda weird how that worked out. If you like some fantasy action or chuuni visual novels, MangaGamer has a few of those as well. They released Tokyo Babel by Propeller in 2016. They released Sorcery Jokers by Third Eye in 2018. They recently announced The Pillagers of Railor, also by Third Eye, with some Sorcery Joker fans being hyped since Railor seems to be more liked. While Chuablesoft has unfortunately filed for bankruptcy in Japan in 2017, MangaGamer was able to release a couple of their visual novels in English since then. They released If You Love Me, Then Say So in 2018. Arunaru strikes again with another localization people complained and or joked about. This time, having one of the main heroines say dude, which was originally onii-chan in Japanese. They also released Farther Than the Blue Sky in 2019, which is generally more liked and doesn't have any localization people complained about as far as I know. One little interesting tidbit. There was a time when people had issues buying on MangaGamer store with their credit card due to payment processor issues. So MangaGamer offered direct PayPal payments to their account so they can put points on your MangaGamer account to buy visual novels on their store. I know because I actually did this back in 2018. I'm not actually sure if they still offer this service or not, but their payment processor has been better for me at least, so I could just use my credit card. MangaGamer has had many in-house staff and contractors work on their visual novel projects. I'll briefly list some of their more notable ones. Koryu, one of their lead translators who's been there for a long time, did the Edelweiss retranslation and Kira Kira. DS55 has translated Bokuten, Princess Evangel W Happiness, and has done various video editing work. Kaitsu has done editing for Bokuten, and she's actually one of MangaGamer's main image editors, doing lots of various work, including making sure many of MangaGamer's releases have their mosaics removed in H scenes. The late Conjurer has translated Sakanomori Dreamers 1 and The Most Forbidden Love in the World. Dawdler is one of the most known programmers in the visual novel industry, hacking many different types of engines and porting to Unity, among other things. He's even helped out other visual novel licensing companies, but mostly affiliates with MangaGamer. Honestly, it might be easier to name a MangaGamer project he didn't work on at this point. If you want to see thoughts from more of their staff members and contractors, MangaGamer has a staff blog page where various people have commented on their experience working with particular visual novel projects. And there you have it, a history of MangaGamer and their releases. There might have been some things I missed, but this covers most of MangaGamer's notable releases, history, and even some controversy. If you have any thoughts on this video in particular, if you want to see more of this kind of video, or any other input, feel free to leave a comment below.